Hey everybody, it's out for our gravel ride this morning and the roads are starting to run pretty sweet. We've had a few days of good weather, it's starting to dry out and we're getting really close to spring now. So now comes the massive conundrum of what tyres do I run for my type of gravel riding. We won't go into tyre widths, there's a whole different theory about do I run 29 by 2.2s if my bike can handle the clearance, do I want a mountain bike tyre, do I want a gravel tyre. We'll stay away from the whole width and volume part of the conversation, but we'll aim this chat at tyre treads because if we get a couple of rainy days, the trails turn to junk a little bit. So you want some grip and confidence if you're not quite a tech-savvy rider. You want that confidence, but then again, if you're in more of a gravel bunchy where it's about speed, you don't want a big chunky tyre to slow you down. You want rolling resistance to be at a minimum. So we'll go through a few different tyres. I've got some Vittoria and Pirelli tyres here, and I'll show you what I run and the reasons why I choose that, and then some of our other customers, what they run for their different types of riding. With gravel tyres, it's a big mix between speed and grip. You can't have both, because on the grip side, you're trying to allow the knobby tyre to bite in to the dirt, which then causes a little bit less rolling resistance. If you can picture, a P-plater going down the road with his big GU Patrol, massive tyres, you can hear those tyres whirring and vibrating from a mile away, and vibration usually means loss of efficiency and more rolling resistance. Conversely, when you want to get a whole heap of speed, you'll have a more slickish tyre, but when it comes to cornering that, you don't have that knobby tyre to bite into the dirt to give you that traction. So that's a cool thing about gravel riding. Everything's a compromise and there's choice and there's reasons. It's not like road riding. Don't get me wrong, I love road riding, but road riding, it's more of a chat about tyre width and maybe puncture protection. But with gravel, there's so much to picking a tyre, and it can have a massive effect on the enjoyment of your ride and what you want out of it. So we'll start with a more at the extreme end of the grip. So I've got a swab tyre here mounted to a rim, and you can see here by the profile, it's got quite large knobs, and they're designed to bite down and really bite into the loose mud and dirt and really give you that grip and traction. So it acts more like a paddle as it goes in and bites into the dirt. Then we mix to more of a all-round tyre, a medium tyre. So with Pirelli, they had the Cintrato Gravel M, and you can see it has the knobs, but the center knobs are joined together. So it creates a nice little ridge for the tyre to roll on. So that's a way they achieve an all-round tyre with the knobs, allow to bite into the dirt, but when it's sitting on the centre, it has a nice centre line to roll on. Vittoria achieves that same sort of feel with some slightly more raised knobs in the middle and then some side knobs to bite in. So when the tyre turns, you lean into the corner, the knobs bite in, but it has quite a small block to roll along in the middle. So from the mud to the medium tyre, the all-round tyre that across the different terrains, we switched to the hard and loose. So when you have really hard dirt, and you can see on the knobby tyre, when it leans into the corner, the knobs, when they can't press into the dirt, actually reduce the contact patch because the tyre is only sitting on the knobs. So if you look at the contact patch across here, where the knobs tops are, that's the only contact patch you have with the ground. So when it's really hard, you actually have less traction with a knobby tyre because there's less rubber contacting the ground because the ground's too hard for the knobs to bite in. When you switch to more of a hard dirt tyre, you'll see here with the Pirelli and with the Vittoria, they're very similar in that the center knobs are really, really, really tiny. So that gives you a little bit of traction, but mostly a lot of contact patch of rubber touching the ground. So if you're a person that goes off into bitumen or really hard, non-pebbly, dusty, hard-packed gravel, then these center knobs here being really tiny allow the tyre to have quite a large contact patch with the rubber with the ground, but also quite a nice rolling resistance because you don't get those large knobs paddling into the ground and causing that vibration. Both tyres though do have a nice side knob to them as well. So if you do lean into the corner and tip it in, then you do have some side knobs biting in and helping giving you that edge traction that you need. But really nice, fast rolling tyre, made for dry, hard, non-slip, like non-pebbly gravel and onto bitumen. And then you have the racing tyre, which I run because I'm an elite gravel rider. But I tend to, all year round, I run mostly this tyre. I will run a medium tyre if it's like a super muddy gravel ride. That's the cool thing about it. You can swap and change. So if you're going to go and do a gravel ride which is a bit more adventurous, you would switch to the medium. But I like to have a bit of speed. Plus, I also use this as a road bike every now and again too. So you can see on this tyre here, this is the Cintrato RH gravel tyre from Pirelli. It has quite a smooth slick in the middle, which gives you less traction on gravel, especially if you're trying to pedal up a wet muddy incline. You'll lose a bit of traction as you slip if you're not really smooth with your pedal strokes. But it's a really nice smooth center line to roll along at high speeds and on the road too. So you can put a bit more air pressure in this and it'll hold up on that center line and roll really well. But same deal, has some small knobs here just on the edge here as you tip in, but then on the extreme edges it has some knobs there. So if you do lean into the corner quite far, then you can bite the knobs in. That's where the compromise comes in, which is really cool. So really fast, but not confidence inspiring. So if you're a really competent gravel rider and you're in a faster bunchy type gravel ride, which we have on Thursday morning, then this tyre is really cool because the rolling resistance is really low. We tend to stick more just to gravel roads. We don't do any real side track or single track with the ride. So it's about more of a road gravel ride, if that makes sense, a road bunchy type ride on the gravel. So more about speed than control. That's where this tyre or the hard compound tyres really suit. But if you're like our Saturday morning gravel grinders, they're a lot more about adventure and cruising and social and enjoying what's around here on the peninsula. So they might go off and do some single track. They might go down onto the beach at low tide, and they tend to ride along more as a bunch. And it's not about speed, it's about more about control and adventure. And that's where the medium tyres and the all-round tyres come in really handy because even though they have semi-low rolling resistance, they just inspire confidence because of the extra knobs they have that bite into the dirt. So if you get off into the looser sand or into some mud, or you might hit some loose mud in the middle of a corner, you'll have those knobs that'll bite in and give you the control. That's what I love about gravel. It's so technical. It's just not about pumping your tyres up and going for a ride. You can really change stuff around on your bike to make it what you like to achieve out of a ride. If you want to know any more, come down and see us. I'm always happy to have a chat. Everybody knows me. I will talk about gravel and just talk all day. So pop down for a chat. We can go through some of the tyres. Bring down your bike if you want to, and we can have a look at the tyres that you run, and we can talk about what type of riding they suit and what may be better or may suit the type of riding you may want to do in the future. Catch ya.